You won't believe what happened when I stood up to my HOA. I went from being a law-abiding resident to a rebel with a cause and a tank. Keep watching to find out why. I'd always thought of myself as a model citizen, following every rule and regulation in our suburban neighborhood. That was until the Homeowners Association, HOA, started getting on my case about my RV. I mean, what's the big deal? It's parked on my own property, right? Wrong, according to the HOA. They claimed it was an eyesore and demanded I move it within 14 days. I tried to reason with them, explaining that I'd invested a small fortune in customizing the RV to fit my needs. But they wouldn't budge. The HOA's constant nitpicking had gotten under my skin, and I started to feel like I was living in some kind of dictatorship. I decided to take a stand, not just for myself, but for all the other homeowners who'd been bullied by the HOA's strict rules. Little did I know, my rebellion would soon take on a life of its own. As I pondered my next move, a crazy idea started brewing in my mind. What if I didn't just move the RV or fight the HOA in court? What if I took a more drastic approach? I'd always been fascinated by military vehicles, and a wild thought crossed my mind. What if I bought a tank? I know it sounds absurd, but hear me out. A tank would be the ultimate symbol of defiance, wouldn't it? Plus, it would be a great conversation starter. I started researching online, looking for someone who sold tanks. Yes, you read that right, tanks. I found a few enthusiasts who'd converted theirs for civilian use, and I tracked down a guy in Texas who was selling a refurbished M60 Patton. The price tag was steep, but I wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking about the look on the HOA's face when I showed up with a tank parked on my lawn. The day I arrived in Texas to inspect the tank was one I'll never forget. As I climbed up onto the massive vehicle, I felt like a kid on Christmas morning. The seller gave me a tour, explaining the various features and showing me how to operate the thing. I was hooked. After a quick inspection and some negotiations, we shook hands, and the tank was mine. The logistics of getting the tank back to my place were a nightmare, but I managed to arrange for it to be transported on a massive trailer. As I watched it roll into my driveway, I couldn't help but grin. This was going to be epic. The HOA was about to get a wake-up call like no other. The day I parked the tank on my lawn was a sunny Saturday morning. I positioned it prominently, making sure it was visible from the street. Then I waited. It didn't take long for the HOA to notice. Within hours, I received a frantic call from the board president, demanding that I remove the tank immediately. I politely told him that I'd be happy to discuss the matter further, but for now the tank was staying put. The phone started ringing non-stop as news of the tank spread like wildfire. Neighbors, curious passers-by, and even local news crews showed up to catch a glimpse of the behemoth. The HOA, realizing they were beaten, tried to issue a statement distancing themselves from the whole ordeal. But it was too late. The tank had become a sensation, and I was the unlikely hero of the neighborhood. In the end, the HOA backed down, realizing that maybe, just maybe, they'd gone too far. The tank became a symbol of resistance against overzealous homeowner associations everywhere. I became something of a celebrity in my community, with people stopping by to take selfies with the tank. Of course, there were some practical considerations. Insurance, maintenance, and parking became major issues. But I'd do it all over again in a heartbeat. The tank had become a part of me, a reminder that sometimes you need to take a stand and fight for what's yours. Thanks for watching. If you're as passionate about standing up for your rights as I am, hit that subscribe button and join the rebellion. Don't forget to like and comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this wild ride.